Michael here from the HR MacMillan Space Centre with some breaking news. This week, we've got some fun stuff that's not going to be just happening today, but all week because we're talking about a mission that's about to land on an asteroid. So we have our astronomer Rachel here that's going to walk us through and give you a preview of how to follow along with this really exciting mission, the Osiris-Rex mission. Rachel, what does Osiris-Rex stand for? What is this mission here?
I'm glad you asked, and it's a really long acronym, so I had to write it down. And it's Origins, Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, Security, Regolith Explorer. And they go through, each one of those words goes through exactly what their mission objective is. So it's a great acronym, but it's just really lengthy.
So what exactly is the Osiris-Rex mission going to do?
So it's going to travel to a near-Earth asteroid called Bennu, and it had left in 2016, and it arrived at Bennu in 2018, and it's been orbiting for 2 years. And hopefully now we're going to see a sampling event. So it's going to go down to the surface of the asteroid and touch it for about 5 seconds, collect some of the dirt on top or the regolith on top, and then touch and go and just leave. And hopefully we'll be able to see that sample returning back to Earth in 2023.
Yeah, so that's really unique. Now, you said touch and go, which is what they call the tag event. And what we're going to do over the next few minutes, we're not going to do a full half hour here, but we want to give you a preview of how you can follow along. And when you're hearing some of these acronyms, like especially like the tag, people are beginning talking about, because as you say, they're not actually going to land on the asteroid. The asteroid is actually too small to actually gravitationally hold on to it. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think it's about 200 meters or something like that in diameter. And when it goes down to the surface, it will extend an arm. It's called, I think, the SAM arm or something like that. And it'll have little bursts of nitrogen gas to kind of disturb the surface and stir up some of that material. And then the sampling arm will take in that material and put it in a sample return container. And what's interesting actually is when they do this tag event, when they bring back the sample, they have to verify that they have the sample. So they have something called a SAM cam that's pointed just at the module to make sure that there is a sample. And then what they're going to do is they're going to extend this arm and they're going to spin it around. And by spinning it around and comparing to when they didn't have the sample versus when they do, they can figure out the mass or the approximate mass of how much they collected.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, of course, this mission is very unique to NASA. Now, this isn't the first time that we've gotten a sample from an asteroid before, right, Rachel? But this type of mission is still very unique.
Exactly, yeah. So Japan had some samples from an asteroid called Itokawa, I believe.
Yeah.
But for this sample, they're hoping for the range of something between like 60 and 2,000 grams. And if they get enough, then that would be the most or the largest amount of extraterrestrial material ever brought back to Earth.
Yeah. Really, really cool stuff. We actually did an event a couple of years ago, actually before your time, Rachel, when Osiris-Rex launched with Katherine Johnson. And there is a Canadian tie because there are some Canadian scientists that are working on one of those. As you say, there are different instruments on Osiris-Rex, and one of them is a Canadian instrument, which means Canadian scientists actually will get to sample some of those samples. Like they'll kind of like divide them up and like, here, you can have some. So that's really exciting for Canadian scientists.
Yeah, so I think that NASA is going to keep 75% of the sample for science research, and the other 25% will go around the world. And hopefully people will be able to see it in real life. I would love to be able to have that chance.
Yeah, awesome. So just to walk people through kind of like what's going to happen. So the actual a tag event will be happening today, but there's actually a bunch of things that you can follow along. And Rachel, maybe you want to share your screen. We're going to have some links. If you go into our description of this YouTube, you can click on those links and it'll take you to all the different areas that you can follow along today. And this particular one that Rachel is showing us is actually a simulation, which is really cool because, of course, there's not a live camera out there showing us what's going on. Now, there are cameras that will be able to give us some pictures, but we're not going to be able to get those pictures probably till the next day, right, Rachel?
Yeah, and keeping in mind that there is an 18-minute lag time one way for radio communication. So when this tag event happens, it's going to be completely autonomously. So hopefully everything will go smoothly, and you'll be able to see a real-time simulation here on asteroidmission.org, where you can find things like the science objectives and the mission status for Osiris-Rex. And it'll walk you through exactly what will happen. So starting with breaking the orbit, so starting to descend towards the surface of the asteroid, and then the actual tag event, and then eventually leaving the asteroid and coming on its way back to Earth.
Amazing. So here's sort of sequence of events, and one of the links on there has like a press release of what's going to happen today. So actually, just after we end this morning, that live animation is going to go live at about 10:20 Pacific time. Now, I had to sort of wrap my head around when I was looking at the press release because it was all in Eastern time, which is always important to make sure that you know that you're in the right time zone. So if you're reading the document, just keep in mind that those times are in the Eastern time zone. If you're watching this from the Eastern time zone, great. We are here in the Pacific time zone. So for us, 10:20 a.m. is when that animation is going to start, and you'll sort of kind of see as it's orbiting around, because currently Osiris-Rex is orbiting around the asteroid, right, Rachel?
Yeah, so it's been ordering for 2 years. It's been waiting a long time to do this mission.
As we all are waiting
Yeah.
for this tag event. So that live stream is going to start at about 10:20 and then end. You'll stop streaming at about 3:30 Pacific time, 6:30 Pacific. Now at noon today, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock Pacific time, 5 o'clock Eastern time. There's going to be a live broadcast from Lockheed Martin. So Lockheed Martin is sort of the control center. They've built a lot of the machinery for Osiris-Rex. So there's going to be live broadcast of Osiris-Rex descent to the surface of Bennu. But just keep in mind, there's not going to be like live video from the mission when you're watching that. What you are going to be hearing is all of the scientists that have worked on this mission. So it's going to be hosted by Dante Loretta, the Osiris-Rex principal investigator at the University of Arizona. Michelle Toller, so she's a science communicator at Goddard. And the broadcast will cover milestones in the last 90 minutes leading up to the tag event, which is going to happen at about 3:12 Pacific time, 6:12 Eastern time. Now, of course, this is all assuming that everything is going to go according to plan, which we really hope that it does. So that's kind of like today. So you can follow along with that animation and go to the live broadcast to hear from the scientists. Now, tomorrow, of course, is when the public is going to start to get some of these pictures, and there's going to be a news conference. So back on that same website, the NASA Live website, you can follow along with that press conference at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, we're going to hear back from Dante Loretta, the principal investigator, also Rich Burns, who's the project manager, and Sandra Freund, who's the mission operations manager. And that's where going to be really key. That's the one that we'll be tuning into, because that's when we'll get pictures. That's when we're actually going to apparently hopefully get some stitched together video from the event as well. So that's going to be really exciting. And then right after that at 3:15 Eastern, 3:15 Pacific, NASA actually has this really cool show called NASA Science Live, and so they're going to air an episode right after that press conference with the team members to answer live questions from the public. But of course, you are all Space Center fans here, so the next day, Thursday, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to be here 2 p.m. Pacific time. We'll do a full live Q&A session, and we'll answer any and all of your questions about the Osiris-Rex mission. I'm really excited this week. It's really fun to be following along with this mission.
Me too. Yeah. Can't wait to see how it works, and if it goes well, hopefully it does.
Awesome. So make sure to join us back right here on this channel. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can get those notifications when we do go live. And just like we did today, this is not our normal time slot, but this is our breaking news. So we'll be going live. So make sure to stay tuned and check our website for all the latest information. All right, Rachel, I'll be tuned in this afternoon. I will see you again on Thursday.
See you then.
Bye, everyone. Okay.